Welcome to Crossbody of Work. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
Coming to you, I was going to say live, but not live. Pre-recorded from a new house.
Yes.
Hey, new house. We painted this room. It's cool.
As you guys can see, the new house, this background is white, whereas the old place, the background was also white.
Was grayish. And this is almond colored.
Almonds are brown.
It was called almond white. Anyways, you don't see over this side the accent wall, which is called terracotta pot.
I don't even know. Okay. All right. Let me try to guess what the primary color for that would be.
You take a guess.
The Terra leads me to green. Is it green?
It is not green. It is. It's a planter for type pot, like a burnt orange, like a nice brownie orange. Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice. Home ownership is expensive, but you know what? We're doing it. We're having a good time. Love being in the house, and we are here because I couldn't leave you guys. Of course, we got to have the content.
Come on.
And this week, we are looking at the career of Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster, through 5 of his most important matches.
Red Rooster, Terry Taylor, Terrence Taylor, a guy who kind of just looks like what the hell was the guy's name? You know Emma's boyfriend, the one who is in WWE.
Emma's boy. No,
Madcap Moss, Riddick Moss. He kind of just looks like Riddick Moss at the end. It was kind of like jarring.
Some of his other names: Scary Terry Taylor, and Taylor Made Man,
Ooh.
And my favorite, Dr. Feelgood. Dr. Feelgood, elite level name. The very first tier list you and I are ever going to do on the YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should go subscribe at Crossbody of Work. We're going to do a tier list of everyone's first ring name. We talked about it before, and it's going to be so fun.
The way that Sexton Hardcastle is going to be last, and you're going to be like, no, it should be S tier. And I'm going to be like, it absolutely is not going to be, though.
It is a definitive S tier name. What do you know about Terry Taylor?
He's the Rooster. He was a trainer, or he might still be a trainer.
He is still a trainer.
Yeah. WWE, and that's it.
I believe he still runs what's called the finishing class. Like for the people who are about to get called up, him and Shawn Michaels are the people who run the finishing class.
I mean, that Shawn there makes sense.
Yeah, Shawn's in charge, right?
The whole thing.
But Terry Taylor worked as a trainer, road agent, and director of talent relations for TNA during the time you were watching, 2003 to 2011.
My GOAT?
Your GOAT might be Terry Taylor.
What was he again? Talent relations?
Trainer, road agent, and then director of talent relations.
My guy.
Yeah, doing things. And since 2012 has been a trainer in NXT. Terry Taylor, real name, no gimmicks, except just kidding. His name is Paul Wardell Taylor III.
Wardell, you say?
Oh, Warden. Sorry.
Oh.
Paul Warden Taylor III.
The fact that your brain went straight to Wardell, you got Curry on the mind?
Well, whenever I see Warden as a middle name, I'm going to just do like Stephen Wardell Curry, you know? Like it's just going to be the way my brain goes.
Stephen Curry, baby. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's the way my brain goes. But no, he was born August 12th, 1955, and was a fan favorite in the Mid-South and the Mid-Atlantic. Did a little bit of work on the Indies there in the territory days. Started his career in 1979, won some titles in the Mid-South, including being the second ever Mid-South TV champion after losing to first champion Crusher Khrushchev in the tournament finals. Great name.
I know that name, though.
Yeah, he was associated with Volkov, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was associated with Nikolai Volkov back in the day. And then he went after the Mid-South North American title. Before we dive into that first match, a reminder, you should like the video. If you're watching on YouTube, you should hit subscribe. You should give us a 5-star rating wherever you're listening to your podcast. Shout out to our boy Crispy Crisp, who's been in the comments recently. Sending us some love. We appreciate it. Tell us who you want to see. We've had some people suggest some things before. And at the end of the episode, we will reveal our next 3-part series. So stay tuned for that. Our first match is for the Mid-South North American title. It is from Mid-South UWF, September 28th, 1984. Terry Taylor going up against the champion, Magnum TA.
Magnum TA, a man with a great look.
I genuinely thought you were just going to end at a man, and I was going to wholeheartedly agree with you.
Also, just a man.
A man. Magnum TA is a man.
Him and Tom Selleck, baby. They're just one and the same.
I want to just have that type of mustache when I'm older. I just want to do it
I just will never understand chest hair at that level.
to that extent.
Like, I got like 4 individual hairs on my chest, and I'm 26. Like,
I
it's
don't know if you're
I
getting
feel
there.
like it's chalked at this
I
point,
think
right?
I think you're wrapped. Just like my not non-existent growth spurt that I'm hoping for. I think you're wrapped.
See, but
So
yeah, but hair is different from, like, body structure,
yeah, but
you
for the
know?
most part, you start gaining it in places you don't want, nose, ear, and you lose it from places you do want, top of head.
Actually, I don't feel like my nose hair has gotten more ridiculous than it did when I was in my youth.
That's because you're under 30 still. Just you
About
wait,
the
baby.
same.
It's
Oh,
coming.
no.
It's
Oh,
coming.
no.
Um,
Oh, god.
Magnum has been champ for some months now. Taylor had just lost the TV title after a similarly long reign. What did you think of the match?
I thought this was solid. Honestly, this I think as far as the quality, it's slightly disappointing. I
Because
I
of the two guys involved, or what?
I just think these 2 guys, I'm expecting a little bit more, give me a little some here, a little fast pace. There's a lot of headlocks and hammer lock. There's a lot of locks that go on during this match.
I have realized that Terry Taylor loves locks.
Yes, and I'm not talking about bikes.
Call
I'm
this
not talking
man
about doors.
the key master because he loves locks, baby.
He probably did call himself that back in the day, at this point. If Dr. Feelgood is on the
Is on the docket.
is on the docket, anything is possible.
Yeah, there's a lot of like early. It's Matt control. Magnum's in control of the arm of Taylor. He sends Taylor into the ropes. Who does hop over them and wag a finger at Magnum? I'm like, okay, that's a fun little cheeky spot. Um, they trade some moves, some nice hip tosses. I would say we don't really see a lot from Taylor here. And the thing that is confusing to me is you'd expect more because it's a title match. I know it's a TV match, but it's still a title match. So I think I agree with you in
Yeah.
the like. There's another gear they could have gotten to.
I mean, we covered Magnum TA, right?
No, this is this just like a Perry Saturn episode. It's one that we thought we have done, but we haven't done because he shows up in a lot of other people's
We've
episodes.
just done all of his matches. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. I mean, look, we've covered enough Magnum TA matches at this point where we know the guy's good and he's fast and he works fast. He's also a hell of a seller, which I
yes,
noticed in this match as well. But I don't know, and just looking through the other matches on here, like especially Terry Taylor is the kind of guy who he'll just do fast paced moves and strikes and all this other stuff and really get things moving. So I'm shocked that these guys worked as slow as they did. I mean, at one
yeah.
point they both sit down on a wrist lock.
It's weird too because both men are baby faces here. Like this
Yeah,
babyface versus babyface title match, so you'd expect like a lot of energy, and of course, like they do like a show of honor at the beginning of the match, like they shake hands, and that's cool. But then it's a lot of just like, here's a headlock. Oh, Terry got out of the headlock. Here's a
yeah.
hammerlock. Ooh, Magnum got out of the hammerlock. It's like, oh, what next? You
And
know?
there's like they have these little glimmers throughout the match
It
of
was
like
some cool
little
stuff.
fast action between holds, but it lasts like a second or two before there's another hold put on. Like it's really annoying. Magnum,
What's one that you saw that you liked? One of those little glimmers.
there was a hammerlock spot, and Terry slips out of it, quickly hits the ropes like a freaking like a bull in
Like
a
a
china
rocket,
shop.
yeah.
He's absolutely just gunning for it, and then Magnum, I think he hits him with a drop kick
Yep.
to like halt it, and then immediately goes to the arm or something like that, like a headlock or whatever. Which I was like, okay, like it's not even that Terry hit a move; it was more so the way he got like that burst.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy's got a quick first step.
Speaking of burst, have you seen the clip going around from this week's Raw where you could see Braun Breaker approaching from the
Oh
crowd?
yeah. The fan video.
That's that man is a freak. He's a
He's
freak
just like
athlete.
he's just like slowly creeping, slowly creeping, slowly creeping, and by the time he gets to like slightly close to the barricade, just boom, gone.
Burst, immediate burst.
He's in the ring in like a second and a half. It's insane.
The other thing that's working against this match is the finish.
Yeah, which we'll get to that in a second. I
Yeah,
mean, it's headlock city. Taylor gets out of a headlock with a back suplex, which is a nice for a near fall.
yep.
Side breaker, knees to the small of the back breaker for a near fall. Magnum reverses a gut wrench suplex with a gut wrench suplex.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he reverses an atomic drop with an atomic drop.
He's
Uh,
it's almost like Terry's giving him ideas on what to do.
Pretty much. Terry Taylor hits a spine buster.
So the dropkick by Magnum hits for a 2. A driving spinebuster by Terry Taylor that injures Magnum. And
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Part of wrestling is to hurt the other guy so that you can pin him. That's the whole point. And Magnum is clearly hurt here, but Taylor doesn't want to win the title that way. So they just call the match.
Yeah, they call the match. Taylor hops on the mic, said he doesn't want to win the championship like this. He couldn't look himself in the mirror if he did, and they just call it a no contest.
They just wrap it up.
Which is just like insane to me.
It's like, just like imagine this 2019. Kawhi hops on the mic. Hey, Kevin Durant's hurt. I don't want to win the title this way. We're gonna just call the game. We're just gonna wrap it up.
The Celtics beat the Mavericks in the finals, and they're just like, hey, we had the Mickey Mouse run to the finals. We don't want to win like this. We give up the title.
Mavs in 6, baby. The match just kind of ends. That really works against it. I think both these guys could do something different. But again, Terry Taylor at this point has only been wrestling for, I think he's wrestled for 6 years at this point. And
I mean, that's not nothing.
5 years. And he is 29 in this match. Yeah.
That's your prime.
That's your prime. It's your prime. But he's not like some young wonderkin. He then obviously, because this was the territory days, is doing some work for the NWA, which leads to him challenging for the top title. It is from the New Orleans Superdome. It's June 1st, 1985. And it's Terry Taylor challenging for like I said, the NWA World title. It's the 80s. Who has the world title? Obviously, it's Ric Flair.
Woo!
We have one big note to start this match. You can watch all the matches, of course, in the links in the show notes for the podcast or in the description down below on YouTube.
I'm just going to tell y'all right now, don't watch this one.
This match is contested under 2 light bulbs. It is the darkest match I've ever seen.
It's literally one side of the ring gets one hanging light bulb, the other side of the ring gets the other. Do you think it's because they're in the Superdome? Do you think they couldn't afford the bill to get both
turn the lights on
and the lights? So they're like, yo, let's just bring our own lamps.
It does add a really cool atmosphere for the first couple minutes you watch it. You're like, this is cool. Like, this is interesting. Then it gets old quick.
At some point, I was literally like, who the fuck? Like, it's not like these guys look the same, but I'm still like,
it's so dark that they do look the same.
Who's on top?
This would be such a bitch to watch live.
Oh,
especially in the
terrible.
Superdome.
Nah, because here's the thing. It comes across different on camera than it does in the crowd.
Yeah, but still.
Like, if you're there, your eyes are adjusted, you do have more actual light that gets picked up by being there, that you see better. But, like, it's weird. This is bad, man.
It's a weird time.
Real bad.
And then the actual action, what'd you think of the actual action?
I thought it was solid. It's a typical Flair match. It's really slow to start, and then the action picks up.
It's such a Flair match. I don't think I've had an easier time predicting where we were going in a match.
I knew the finish exactly before it happened, too. That's the worst part about it.
And
it's not even like it's not like a common Flair finish, but you could just see where it was going.
The other thing is that this is a weird thing that happens in these long Flair title defenses is they will run back sections of the match. Like, there's a whole part of the match where Taylor starts to fire up. Essentially, Flair begs off. He manages to hit him with some sort of cheap shot, thumb to the eye rake, something else. And then Flair gets in control before Terry fires up. We cycle that, I think, 3 times in this match.
Something like that. Flair loses all of the 50-50 hold exchanges early on. Like, they're like jockeying for who's going to actually put the hold on. Flair loses every single one, whether it's a wrist lock, hammer lock, headlock, whatever it may be.
They present Terry Taylor as like strong. Like he's not a small So what do you think he's listed at? I always love this game. What do you think he's listed at?
He's shorter than Flair, I believe, here. So Flair's what, like 5'11"? What's Flair listed at?
What is Flair's actual listed height? Flair's listed height, according to Wikipedia, is 6'1".
Oh, okay. So he's if I had to guess, I would say he's not that much shorter, but he is shorter. So I would say he's like 5'11", 6. We'll give him 6 out of the generosity of wrestling. If I had to guess, Flair was like 230, 240. I
Listed
would
at
say,
240.
yeah, I would say Terry Taylor's like 220.
6'1", 220 listed.
I kind of cooked there. I'm
You
not gonna
kind of did. I'm very impressed. This match is, I think, the best technical things you're going to
They
see of
lied on the
Terry
hype, by
Taylor.
the way.
If you want to see what Terry Taylor can do as a wrestler in the ring, this is the match to watch.
Yeah, this is real graps right here.
Yeah. Like
This really is.
what's the best move Terry Taylor hits?
I mean,
Like
it's
what's
not
the
for till later in the match.
No, but like what's the best like in through all the matches, what's the best thing in his arsenal, you think?
He hits. I think is it in the. Okay, so spoiler for the last match that we cover. I think it's in the Mr. Perfect match. He hits
Yeah.
a spine. The second spine buster that he hits is great,
He
but
has good spine
also
busters
gut wrench power bomb in
in another match,
the
yeah.
tag team match.
Yeah. He has a gut wrench powerbomb in his arsenal. He's got a great spine buster in his arsenal. He like a back suplex is simple and he uses it all the fucking time.
He's a back worker though. He's someone that
He
really
is. He's
targets the back throughout
very
the
much a
match.
back worker. So going through the match, Flair is so hated. New Orleans
the crowd is
hates.
so hot, man.
There are some good crowd shots here, and normally I'm against crowd shots in wrestling because I think WWE just ruined them for us. There is one where a woman is standing up in her seat and just cussing him out. Probably like it's somebody's grandma, and she's so
Oh
fucking
my god!
mad at
Wait,
Ric Flair.
describe this woman because I think we're gonna talk about the same one.
So she's like an older black woman. She's got the glasses.
Yep.
Got glasses on. She's awesome. She's
Okay,
so mad.
Not there. It's like later on in the match, they like pan to her section, and you just see her sticking the middle finger up. And I'm like, oh shit, grandma, hold up.
I fucking love that.
Nana's out here doing some shit.
She's wilding out. Yeah, so like I said, the action repeats a lot. Is there any particular spot you want to talk about in the middle spots of the match?
Taylor just doesn't let go of the front face lock. Like he gets slammed into the corner. He gets like Flair tries yanking his head up and down to see if that'll work. It won't work. Like he just tries doing everything imaginable, and he's just not able to do it. At one point, Flair throws Taylor out of the ring, and he quickly gets right back in. And Flair's just like, "God damn it! Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I love a Flair begging spot.
He's the best at it. Like it's a Flair spot.
Yeah, it's true. They just start throwing hands. Like, just, you know what? Screw it. Like Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje at the end of that fight, where they're just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go. Same thing happened here. Flair does a Flair flop.
I love the Flair flop. You're talking about the one where he goes tumbling to the outside, or the
one where he just goes straight forward. Yeah. I will say Terry Taylor has a good explosive punch.
Yeah, like when he's on the offense, when he's on the comeback trail, he's got a really good right hand specifically.
Yeah, like most guys, I would say most people who have great working punches, they'll do the thing where they throw their body into it and they stop. Like think of Austin,
Rock,
Lawler, Brett. Like they don't go all the way through with their punch.
Yeah.
Like because it doesn't look that as good when you do it that way. But for some reason, Terry, he gets all the way up there and it looks good. It's because I think it's because he does like a looping punch type deal here.
We do get the spot where Flair, of course, gets tossed into the corner and goes tumbling to the outside, which is one of my favorite Flair spots. Yep. We also get, of course, a figure four. Flair locks in a figure four. Taylor flips it over. Taylor does an inside cradle for a very fast 2 count. Like I thought the ref was in on the fix. Flair misses a knee drop. Taylor goes and gets a figure four of his own. Flair manages to get to the ropes instead. This is me being nitpicky. If you get hit with your own submission move, you should know exactly how to get out of it.
Yeah, he did by getting to the ropes.
I know, but in terms of like flipping it out or immediately getting out of it, it should be quick. It's your move.
Here's the thing. He did try to fight to turn it over.
That's true.
Like he does it pretty quick, and there's no you can't untangle his legs.
This is not Flair specific. This is just me in general as a rule of thumb. I think if it's your own submission, you should be able to get out of it faster.
like face locks of different kinds, like a
like a
crossface
lacrosse
or
face
whatever,
or yeah.
lapel lock. Like you can't figure that one out. Like
Just bite their arm.
like
Yang.
you do the move.
This is you. You know how it gets countered when you do it. So like
Yeah, just
anytime
get
Kurt
out.
got put in an ankle lock, I was always like, "Come on, Kurt. I can suspend
Oh,
disbelief a little bit, but
not this much.
come on."
Um, I will say a little earlier on in the match, Flair's on top, and the camera guy, he's like working Terry over in the corner. The camera guy gets a little too close to his face, and Flair just yells out, "Get that camera out of my face!"
I
And
love
the guy like
Ric
backs
Flair.
off a little, but the audio from the crowd like goes crazy loud, and the way they're booing him, they like pan to the crowd a little bit, and I think that's where I saw the old lady slip up the
That's
middle
she
finger.
has her first one. Yeah,
And the whole thing I'm seeing, like, this is all happening, and I just go, you know what? I get it.
yeah.
I already understood, but now I really understand. That is the heavyweight champion of the world right there.
Flair ends up on the top rope. You already know what happens. He immediately gets tumbled to the mat. Running crossbody by Taylor for a 2. Backslide for another near fall. Taylor with a kick from his back while he's down. It knocks Flair into the ref, who falls to the outside. This allows Taylor to do a backslide to get the visual pin, which is worth something. It's not worth the
It's
title,
classic.
but it's worth something.
He also loves a backslide, by the way.
Taylor loves a fucking backslide. Flair dumps Taylor to the outside over the top rope.
Yep.
Taylor comes in, few back body drops, and then we get to the finish, a roll up, which is then rolled back up by Flair. So he counters it, uses the tights, gives a big hold of the tights, and Flair retains the title.
Yes, sir.
You could skip the first 12 minutes of this 45-minute match.
It's very long. I watched it on 2 times speed. I'm not
I
gonna
watched it
lie.
on 1.5.
I can't do 1.5 anymore. It's got to be like 2.
The brain rot's real. It's
Like I can't do it anymore.
there's a
Like
certain year where you have to go 1.2 or 1.5, I think, and then past that you can go to like it's like 1999.
No, I mean if you're the older the match, the faster you got to
No,
put it.
that's what I mean. It's like
Okay.
everything older than 99 you could probably watch on 2 times speed.
Yeah. I guess it depends on who's wrestling too.
Yeah, like if it's like a
You know,
Hoovy Rey Mysterio match, obviously don't put it on
th-
2.
this is a slight tease for the person we're covering in our 3-parter. Like most of those, I will be watching on 2 times speed.
Yes, you will be able to watch those at 2 times speed. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we are finally going to see the Red Rooster. Back from the break, Terry Taylor would move back to the Mid-South region in 86, which at that point had been renamed the Universal Wrestling Federation, became one of the promotion's biggest stars, defeated Buzz Sawyer for the TV championship in May, and won the UWF Tag Team Championships with Gentleman Chris Adams in early 87. They would lose the titles, leading to this gentleman's agreement match. It was Chris Adams versus Terry Taylor, May 3rd, 1987. On the call, young Jim Ross and Magnum TA.
Yes, sir. Magnum, who aged. I know this is after his accident,
It
but
is.
still aged. Jesus Christ.
And Jim Ross, who's a young stud, as he always is.
He just kind of looks the same always.
He does kind of look the same always.
Obviously he looks incredibly older now because he's old, but like he never looked young. Let's just say it like that.
Have you heard why Jim Ross is in the news for a little bit right now?
Like
Aside from
today,
no, I think a couple days ago, maybe
he was in the
today.
hospital a few days ago. I know
Yeah,
that. He had like
big ups
shortness
to
of breath.
Jim Ross. We hope he's okay. No, Missy Hyatt was on Cafe de Rene with your boy Rene Dupree,
My guy.
and this is her quote.
Oh,
Honestly, me and Jim dated for a couple years. About 2 years after his wife passed away, we dated for about 2 years. So yeah, I've rocked his world. He's rocked my world. End quote.
I'm sorry. Which wife?
Jan, I believe.
Didn't Jan pass away like 4 years, like not that long ago?
It's a lot longer ago than you think. It's pre-COVID.
But it was like within the last 10 years.
Yes, it was 2017.
So
So in
she
20
dated for like 2 years post that. We'll give him a year to grieve. So
well,
like
no. She said it was 2 years after that, and then for 2 years.
2019 until 2021.
Jim Ross
Jim
was
Ross.
rocking the world of Missy Hyatt. You can take with that information as you will. I just know that I read it, so I needed you to also hear that.
He's been married multiple times, though.
I believe so.
So she didn't mention which wife. So it could have been like way back, like his first wife.
No. It's after his wife died in 2017.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Damn.
he's only been married to Jan. He only
Oh,
had one wife. So, yep.
shit.
There you go. So this match, Chris Adams, you may know, you may have heard this name, dear listener, because he's the person who trained Stone Cold Steve Austin and also had a Dark Side of the Ring episode about his talent and also drug dependency and issues.
Yeah, he is not a good person.
No, we learned that in Dark Side of the Ring. He is
Not a good
not,
person.
but he
We'll
is
get more into
portrayed
that.
as quite the babyface here.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the gentleman when we cover him. But yeah, he's like a baby face here. He looks like the bland neighbor from like a random sitcom from like the 80s, early 90s. Like Home Improvement, the neighbor. He kind of looks like him.
He's got a fence in front of his face.
Is that the one?
Yeah, it's Wilson. It's got to get the fence in front of his face. You
Damn
never
it.
see him.
No, who am I thinking of? It's a guy who kind of looks like Maury Povich, but it's not Maury Povich.
I have no idea. There's lots of dudes who look like Maury Povich.
Oh, wow.
You Maury Povich looking son of a bitch. I feel like I've mentioned this on the podcast before. It does not matter. One of my friends said my favorite description of a person. We're just driving down the street one day, and he just turns to me and goes, "Look at that bebop and rocksteady looking motherfucker."
You have told me that.
And it was two people who looked like Bebop and Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Now, for those who do not know about Bebop and Rocksteady, they aren't humans.
No, they are not.
Which is what makes it so fucking funny. Because I'm pretty sure they're like one's a pig, I think, and the other one's like just a massive rat.
No, one's a warthog and one's a rhino.
Yeah, that's what it is. Rhino.
Yeah.
A pig, warhog. It's the same thing.
You say that to Pumbaa with a straight face.
I will. And okay.
All right, we are so off topic.
Here's what. No, I want to circle back to the sitcom thing because I remembered. I think which one. It's not Home Improvement. What was the Jim Belushi sitcom?
According to Jim,
I think it was According to Jim's Neighbor.
Okay,
was the one I was thinking of that looks like Chris Adams. I'll do the match. So Adams wanted a rematch because he didn't like how he won the previous week or whatever. I don't know what happened there. The match starts. It's two baby faces going up against each other. At one point, Adams hits a hip toss and Taylor needs a breather, which is a very heel move. So you can sense a little, oh, what's going on? Even commentary is like, oh, Terry Taylor needs a breather. Oh, what's going on there? Yeah, Taylor gets caught on a leapfrog, gets hit with the world's strongest slam for a near fall. They are just doing moves and slams, and they go very fast for like a minute there.
They do show a lot of speed, and these are like two younger, in the world of UWF, these are two younger guys really showing off. The only person listed as a neighbor on the credits of According to Jim is Jane Lynch, and I do not think that's who you mean.
Yeah, I don't think so either, boss.
Yeah, no, I don't think you mean Sue Sylvester from Glee as looking like Chris Adams. I don't think that's what you mean.
No, it's very clearly not what I mean.
The important thing to recognize in this match is that both of these people are babyface. However, commentary is noting that Terry Taylor throughout the match is a little bit more aggressive than usual. He is showing a different kind of attitude a little bit in terms of what he's doing to Adams.
Yeah, we get a gut wrench suplex for a near fall out of Terry. Nice. There is a hip check type of deal.
Yeah.
Where that Adams hits, that Terry goes flying out of the ring. Yep. I thought it's one of the better sell jobs I've ever seen.
Terry just tumbles. And it's a good sell.
Adams is just on top for the next bit after that. He puts on a sleeper. He's just rocking Terry Taylor. At one point, he sweeps the leg, which I was like, Cobra Kai, baby. Cobra Kai.
This is pretty good. There's also one part where Adams hits a backdrop. Taylor goes into the corner and like asks him for space. He's like, "Oh, whoa, hold up!"
Yeah,
And
whoa, hey, bro, whoa,
Adams
brother.
gives it to him, and then immediately Taylor clocks him with the right hand. And I was like, "Well, that's a heel thing to do."
Yeah, but also you're fighting basically for positioning for in the rankings or the standings or whatever they're doing, because that's
Yeah.
the whole point of this, is that they're doing that.
Yes.
You don't want every advantage you can get, brother.
No. I fully understand the way that Terry Taylor's doing handling his business here, but still wild.
Just remember, you're a babyface and you're saying that.
That's true. Taylor sent off the top rope by Adams. Adams with another back suplex. The ref gets in the way as Adams runs the ropes, and Adams and the ref collide. At one, I
Yeah.
will also shout out to the ref for doing a drop down at one point and saving his ass for a little bit. That was funny.
I did appreciate that.
Taylor goes out to Adams at ringside, and what does he do?
He's like checking on him.
Yep,
That's all. That's all he's doing. He's just checking on him. He's like, "Hey, you good?" He's helping him up. He's like, "Hey, you good?" And then nothing happens. Nothing at all happens here.
Except a pile driver onto concrete by Terry Taylor. Full heel turn, engaged.
It's just a little love tap. There, he gets
Chris
into the
Nowinski
ring.
would like a word with you if you call that a love tap.
It's just a little, just a little, little kiss, little moosh boosh of concrete to the skull.
The ref gets up and starts counting. Taylor has slid in the ring and like pretends to be
selling.
down. He's like, "Oh, I'm hurt."
Oh.
Taylor gets to his feet by 10. Adams is out cold, so Taylor wins by countout.
Yeah. At one point, they come back from like a commercial break or wherever. They showed the replay, and commentary. Both commentators are with Terry Taylor. They're interviewing him. They're like, "Hey, like, what's going on here?" He's like, "Oh, it was a big win, huge win for me. The rankings, standings, all this other stuff." At one point, he says a win is a win, and Magnum calls him out. He's like, "Hey, we both know that's not the type of man that I know you as. That's not what you are doing." Blah blah blah. And then some dude with a title comes out. I have no idea.
No idea.
And he's like, "Hey, like he basically gives Terry his props. Says he needs a person like himself, like the champion who came down to tell him this, to guide him. Taylor rejects him. And then he gets more flack from commentators. He starts getting a little broken up in his voice and all that stuff. He's like, I don't get why you guys don't see it like I do. I'm breaking up. I'm breaking up right now, guys. I gotta go.
I love it where JR at one point says like, "This is not the Terry Taylor I know." And Terry Taylor's like, "What do you mean? I won last week. I won this week. I'm the same guy." Which,
love it.
This is one of my favorite types of heels, is the just like, I have done nothing wrong. I continue to win.
Do you want me to like break the just the thing from How I Met Your Mother where it's like you have this
yes, yeah,
broken, like the glass shatter moment with your partner?
Yeah.
You want me to do that for you with Terry Taylor?
Please.
He kind of sounds like Jerry Seinfeld, doesn't he?
A little, not like a crazy amount. Like I don't expect him to be like, "What's the deal with airplane food?"
He doesn't go full Jerry, because no one goes full Jerry. Even Jerry's not full Jerry. But if you took Jerry Seinfeld and you put him in just like a normal setting where he's not hamming it up,
like in a car getting coffee.
No, because even then he's got to ham it up because there's a camera. If you took the camera away, I'm pretty sure Terry Taylor and Jerry Seinfeld sound the exact same way.
Like Jerry just ordering a pizza would sound like Terry Taylor.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, can I get a pepperoni?"
Give me your most over the top Jerry Seinfeld. I want to hear it.
What's the deal with that?
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. It's pretty good.
Came out better than I thought it would.
So Taylor and Adams had a great rivalry in UWF after this. And then when Jim Crockett Promotions took over UWF in '87, Taylor had a feud with Koloff because they unified the UWF and NWA TV titles. Taylor would then have a brief stint in World Class Championship Wrestling in Texas before joining the WWF in 1988. He signed with WWF and made his initial debut at a house show, defeating one of our favorites, Tito Santana, in July of '88. 3 days later, he made his TV debut as Scary Terry Taylor.
My guy.
Sam Houston was who he teamed with. After Houston was pinned, Terry got on the mic and berated him for losing the match, attacked him, turned heel, and then was acquired by Bobby the Brain Heenan as his manager and rebranded as the Red Rooster. He had red tights, which he has had the entire time during
Yeah.
what we've seen. He's always had red tights. He got a red ring coat, and as a babyface, styled his hair like a rooster's comb. So he had the red little mohawk part, and then the rest was just blonde. Oh,
Do you know the story behind this?
please enlighten me.
I have to say it off the top of my head because it's been a while, but like I believe what happened was he like said something that kind of pissed McMahon off, and like not like I think he just said something dumb in the back or whatever, but it rubbed Vince the wrong way, and for whatever reason, Vince was just like, "Let me ruin this guy's career, make him a rooster."
That sounds bad. It was apparently also a rib on Ric Flair because it was supposed to make fun of Ric Flair because like strutting around like he's the cock of the walk and all that. Like that's apparently part of the
I mean,
what
he
happened.
do be the red cock.
Ooh, that's tough. It's a tough look.
Anyways,
So he was the Red Rooster.
yes,
Also, I didn't know this part of the Red Rooster gimmick. Uh, Early on, when he was a heel, he was described by Heenan as a novice wrestler who could not navigate his way through matches without constant instructions. Um, Meanwhile, like on commentary, Gorilla Monsoon was like, "No, like Terry Taylor's a good wrestler. Like, what are we doing here?" The Rooster made his pay per view debut in the main event of Survivor Series '88, where he was the first person eliminated.
amazing.
He then would turn on Heenan January 7th, 1989, losing a match to Tito Santana, where he was distracted by Heenan and his constant yelling. Heenan slapped Taylor, and then Taylor, tired of his demeaning style of coaching, turned against him, became a face, had a match against the Rooster, or against Heenan at WrestleMania 5, and we have a promo leading into that match.
So he's got a match with the Brooklyn Brawler, I'm assuming is who he's got a match with.
You know how MJF is always like, here's the trials of whatever to face me. Heenan just had like a lineup of guys who had to face a Rooster before he got to face him at WrestleMania, and one of them was the
Yeah.
Brooklyn Brawler.
Here's the thing. So my notes go exactly like this. And the first three words are a direct quote from Terry Taylor. Oh, Brooklyn Brawler, or however the hell he says it. And then I stop right there. And I'm like, yeah, wrap it up. Wrap up the whole career. If you are cutting a promo on the Brooklyn Brawler, we got to stop. This has to end. Either you got to immediately leave the company, or you got to go be an accountant or something, because it's done. It's over.
I wrote the rest of the promo, or some of it. He talks about clawing and scratching to get away from the weasel Bobby Heenan.
He just keeps calling him Weasel.
He's a weasel, and he says he'll have to beat something into him. He's going to go through the Brawler, King Haku, and Rick Rude to get to Heenan.
Doubt.
Strong doubt. Detective Cole Phelps says doubt. I was not ready for how he ends this promo.
Take it from the Rooster.
You gonna do it? Do you want to do it?
I'm not doing it.
Cock-a-doodle-doo!
No, that's not how he sounded. That's the worst part about it, is that's not how he sounds. He sounds like he's freaking barking. Like, that's what he sounds like. He sounds like a dog. He doesn't sound like a rooster.
I know I no longer have like upstairs neighbors to deal with, but I'm still not doing that in my house. I'm not
did it. Wait.
No, but not to the level that he like. You're right.
He sounds like he's barking. It's like me whenever I see Cameron Brink. Like, what are we doing here? I knew that would get you. I knew that would get you.
Sir, respectfully.
I just want some uppies.
Taylor left the Federation in June of 1990, and the Red Rooster gimmick that he used has left a long-lasting, very negative effect on Taylor's career. No shit.
You don't say.
We are going to take another break. When we get back, we have Taylor in WCW and again in WWF. Back from the break, in 1990, Taylor returned to Jim Crockett Promotions, which of course at this point was now WCW because of the sale to Turner Broadcasting. 2 months after signing, Taylor made his return in a win by disqualification over some young guy named Mean Mark Callis. He later re-debuted as Terry Taylor, unsuccessfully challenging Arn Anderson for the WCW World TV title on a couple of occasions. And then in January of 91, he took Vincent Wall Street, who he had been feuding with, that of course being IRS. He took his place in the York Foundation, a group that I had never really heard of.
I've never heard of this at all. What is this? Is this like a Wall Street ripoff?
Kinda, yeah. So it's led by tech-savvy businesswoman Alexandra York and comprised of former babyfaces who adopted formal wear and formalized their ring names upon joining. So that's why we get Michael Wall Street, Terrence Taylor, Richard Morton, aka Ricky Morton, Thomas Rich, who is Tommy Rich,
Ricky Morton turned heel, brother?
and Mr. Hughes was in this group, and Alexandra York, you know better, as Terry Runnels. Yeah, I had no idea this group was a thing. This was her.
What?
This was her. Her kind of like start, because before she was Alexandra York, she was a makeup artist for CNN.
Oh, that's not a bad gig.
That's a pretty good gig.
That's not a bad gig at all.
So,
I wonder
like,
how she switched to wrestling.
you know what? We should cover Terry Reynolds soon.
We will.
The matches will be short, but what a cool. She seems
Just
like a very
eventually,
cool person.
Listen, by the process of elimination alone, we're gonna get to Terry eventually.
That's true. That's true. Who's the least popular wrestler we've ever covered? It's
That's
not
a good question.
It's not Terry Taylor. Somebody go back through our episodes and you tell us who the least popular wrestler we've ever covered is.
No, I can't say it's Fandango because the newbies remember Fandango.
That's true.
We've covered some stinkers. I can't lie.
I mean, we both hate Honky Tonk Man, but that's not the answer.
That's not the answer. Did we cover Brutus yet?
No, and we won't, at least for a long time. So our match that we have this week is from the Lethal Lottery.
Oh, Starrcade 91.
Starrcade 91, the Lethal Lottery, is an outstanding gimmick. It's so fun. So the event,
I love it.
It's a great idea. I think WWE should bring it back for a one-off.
AEW did it. That's how we got the whole Cole MJF partnership.
That's true. But they did it as like a tournament, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was an oddball tournament.
I like this as the Battle Royal. So it's 40 wrestlers paired randomly in tag teams who then have qualifying matches, and the winners then do a 20-man Battle Royal to determine the winner, which I think
on the
is
same night.
On the same night, yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
It is crazy, but it's also
AEW
really cool.
cannot do that. Pay-per-view would be 18 hours long.
Take a guess as to who won the Starrcade, like the one at Starrcade 91.
Is it Arn Anderson and Lex Luger?
It is Sting. Sting would win, but the match
Sting.
Just Sting. Well, look, what's this thing? It's you win the tag team, and then you're a singles wrestler for the actual Battle Royal. Yeah. The match itself is it is Terry Taylor and Tom Zenk versus Arn Anderson and Lex Luger to qualify for the Battle Bowl.
Here's my thing. All right, I think per capita, the next match, the final match that we cover, is my recommendation for the week. I think as an overall product, this is my recommendation for the week.
Hey, you like Arn Anderson? You fucking love this match.
Hey, you like Lex Luger? You like this match too.
That's
hey,
true.
You don't like Lex Luger? Guess what? We've got Terry Taylor and Arn Anderson and Z-Man over there.
The Z-Man. There is a sign in the crowd that says, Lex Luger, give that man an attitude adjustment. Now, we would learn later on that he calls his pile driver the attitude adjustment.
You know, I just like to think that it's gimmick infringement that Cena would do it. So that's why I refer to it as the FU.
I agree with that. I thought we had a time traveler on our hands, and I was excited. Imagine that's like if you're a time traveler, you're like, I'm going to just do obscure signs in wrestling events.
If I'm a time traveler, I'm making so much money.
Oh, yeah.
I'm traveling back to my birth. I'm leaving like little me like $1,000, and I'm like, put it all in Apple.
Yes, 100%. Putting all in Amazon, putting all in Apple.
I'm going back like 3 years, and I'm like, bet the house on NVIDIA.
GameStop, baby. To the moon.
Something like that, babe.
2019 me being like, hey, invest in this company called Zoom. Okay? Just
2012 me, hey, buy some Bitcoin. Trust me, in 2018, you'll thank 2017, whatever that spike was, you'll thank me.
This is the best, like, I think, match in terms of, like, it's a good match overall. I do like the last match, too, which is the Mr. Perfect match. We spoiled it already.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really good match.
And I think it shows a lot of Terry here, especially in his later
Yeah, and
run.
he's clearly the stud of his team. Tom Zenk is the one in peril most of the match.
He looks a little too much like Nunzio. Like, he looks like Lil Guido if Lil Guido didn't look Italian.
You mean the Z-Man from Golden Valley, Minnesota?
That's
6'2",
exactly what I mean. Speaking of Minnesota,
6'2", 230.
shout out.
Oh, for those who are not watching on YouTube, Javier just pulled out a Minnesota Vikings mini football.
My little stress ball type deal.
Javier is stressed because he's a Vikings fan. That's what happens.
You know what? Just for that, bringing out my other stress ball, Big Sam or
Wow.
Tuxedo Sam. Shout out.
Tuxedo Sam is a penguin with a bow tie and a hat, and I love him immediately.
And he's from the Hello Kitty universe.
Oh, I like that. Zenk and Anderson start. Double A rolls to the outside and gets punched by Taylor. We get an insecure to Anderson. Taylor and Zenk clear the ring of the world champ. Luger is the WCW champ at this point, and Double A. Luger and Taylor are in. Gorilla press slam by Luger to Taylor. Jawbreaker by Taylor. Snapmare, and I always call it a float over neck breaker. I don't know if that's the right word.
It's a sweet neck breaker.
No. He does the float over too, where he's the guy sitting on the ground and he like jumps over him and does the neck breaker. He does that first, and then he does the swinging neck breaker. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that.
I always struggle with like, what do you call that?
Oh no, that's just a blockbuster.
Blockbuster. I knew it had like an actual like cool name.
It's like what? What are you talking about? Yeah, so that's a blockbuster. We do get a swinging neck breaker.
It is nice. And then he tries for a sunset powerbomb and eventually gets Luger down. But on the way down, Luger has stumbled backwards towards his own corner that he tagged Double A on the way out, which I was like, that's actually just like, that's such a cool little thing. Wrestling is meant for cool little things, you know?
Yeah, I think I like this little life. Arn Anderson just starts bullying that motherfucker.
Yeah, this is some prime.
No other way.
Like, I expected the Glock to come out at any moment. I was ready. Double A was on
Man
one.
tries to rob me. I stick the Glock in his head and I pull the trigger or whatever the hell he said.
Is that the best AEW moment of all time?
It's either that or it's actually no, it's that. It's just that.
Yeah, it's that.
It's that.
Number one with a bullet.
I can't even think of another one because like the Darby Allin and flamethrower was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, Arn Anderson's going to town. DDT to Zenk, who got
not with a gun.
Got tripped by manager Harley Race. Luger stops a hot tag from Z-Man, power slams him. Anderson goes for a middle rope splash, and Zenk gets his boots up in his face. Then we get the Terry Taylor hot tag. Rate the Terry Taylor hot tag.
I think it's solid.
It's pretty good.
It's punches and forearm strikes. There's an atomic drop. It's really quick.
It is very
super
quick.
fast. Arn, I could tell Arn was struggling to keep up because he's like, "Oh my god, I got to keep taking moves." We get a running crossbody for a near fall. He does a backslide to Arn, which of course he does.
Loves a backslide. We
get a gut wrench sit out power bomb on Lex Luger, and I was like, "Put the world title on him. Put it on him right now."
I wrote, "This is the best move I've seen him hit."
Also, he looks just like Riddick Moss during this match.
He does have so before he had blonde hair, he does have like the darker brown hair with the slick back ponytail. He does look a lot like Riddick Moss.
He looks a lot like Riddick Moss, man. It's bad.
Okay, Arn
not bad, but you know,
Arn with a shot to the back again, not with a gun.
No,
Luger then hits the attitude adjustment pile driver and gets the pin on Taylor. So Terry Taylor eats the pin.
Oh my god, I just realized something.
What's that?
If Arn shoots him with the Glock, he pulled out the Glock on the cock.
Oh, we're never going to be a non-explicit podcast. I've thought about that before. I'm like, oh, like maybe it would help with our like our standing, or people would see it and be like, oh, I can listen to it at work. I mean, you can listen to us at work, just in your headphones.
Yeah. I just, you know, I feel creatively stifled if I can't just let out what I'm thinking. Like,
listen, the
like
people
that.
know I just be saying shit.
Exactly. You think I think about what I say before I say it? No. I just say what happens.
I once was told, I was like 14, and my mom was like, hey, you're going to need to learn to like think a little bit more before you speak. And I was like, why? She's like, because you won't do well in a fight, sweetie. And I was like,
no, here's the thing, right? I got ADHD. I don't know how to think before I speak.
There's no filter here. It just
There's nothing. It's just the words just come out. There's no control. There's no taking a step back and assessing the words coming out of my mouth. The words are just coming out of my mouth.
When the York Foundation would disband, Terry Taylor then became billed as the Tailor-Made Man that I mentioned earlier, remained
Like
heel,
that.
and formed a tag team with Greg Valentine, maybe one of our least favorites. They held the WCW US Tag Team Championships for 3 months. He then made 3 appearances in Eastern Championship Wrestling, so pre-ECW, lost to guys I have not heard of, named Larry Winters and Tony Stetson.
You never heard of Tony Stetson?
Shut up. He would then return to WWF September 21st, 1992, as Terrific Terry Taylor. Had his re-debut at a Superstars taping in Winnipeg, Manitoba. You idiots. Our last match that we are covering is from the second ever episode of Monday Night Raw. It is Terrific Terry Taylor versus Mr. Perfect.
This is a good match.
This is smooth as fuck.
This is a real good match. So we get a really good takedown to start by Mr. Perfect, and I was like, "Oh, we're cooking early."
If you watch this match, I will say you will get distracted by the fact that Randy Savage is dealing with the fact that his car got repossessed by the Repo Man.
And he lost his hat.
And I can't find my hat.
And Bobby Heenan calls in somehow, and it's definitely just pre-recorded audio, but still,
It's so weird.
I don't like it. We get Mr. Perfect gets a hip toss, drop kick, and Rooster. Or I call him Rooster. He's not Rooster anymore.
No, he's all.
Taylor.
That's the thing. Like that is the thing about his career. Once you were the Rooster, there's no. It's like when they were like, "This is Lord Tensai." We were like, "Shut the fuck up." That's
Shut the
Albert.
fuck up. That's Albert.
That's A-Train at
baby.
best.
That's A-Train right
Shave
there.
your back.
Having a hairy back is also crazy because I don't have a single follicle back there.
Jealousy is just coursing through my veins.
So we get a drop kick. Taylor tries to run away, and Perfect just goes right after him. Just no wasted movements, right behind him. We get an arm drag into a hold by Perfect, and then Taylor does get an advantage. He drags Perfect out of the ring. He starts stomping on him. He gets a backbreaker, spine buster, which looked amazing.
So good
for a near fall. Gut wrench powerbomb with a stack pin.
Yeah.
And he didn't win?
Because he wasn't Perfect. Perfect kicks out. Perfect with some right hands. Huge atomic drop. Then it hits the blockbuster. And then out comes Ric Flair, because this is the Monday Night Raw right before the 93 Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I believe is when Flair and Perfect had a match.
They're having a little feud. Taylor runs Perfect to the outside. Flair attacks Perfect while Taylor distracts Hebner. But then it doesn't matter because in the ring, Perfect just hits the Perfect Plex.
Yeah, he hits a Perfect Plex. Well, so Taylor's going for a suplex of some kind. Perfect counters it like by blocking it, hits a Perfect Plex. 1, 2, 3, he wins. Because you don't kick out of the Perfect Plex, Evan.
Ric Flair was not the world champion, and they did not have a match at the Rumble. They were just both in the Rumble.
Well, they did eventually have a match because the whole blowout for the family, the Heenan family.
But they did not have a match at the Rumble. Perfect did eliminate Flair, who would come in at number 1 again, which is big. So Mr. Perfect eliminated him. Perfect would weirdly only last 9 minutes in that Rumble and have 3 eliminations. Terry Taylor lasted 24 seconds. Yep.
Who'd he go out to?
He went out to Ted DiBiase.
Oh, he went out. Sorry, man.
Taylor would then go to, in order, WCW, the AWA, WCW, the WWF, WCW, and then WWE as a road agent, and then TNA, and then back to WWE. This man constantly moving. You can't catch him.
He has never owned a property a day in his life.
I love going through the Wikipedia of people that we cover and just being like, oh, like track the career path. Oh, they were in like, Jim Crockett Promotions. Then they went to WCW. Then they had the big jump over to WWF. And then they like retired or whatever. This man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 things before retiring.
He had like 7 after the last match that we covered.
Yes, I know. It's wild. When you have a 4th return to WCW as a heading, woo,
That's got to be the most.
4th return to WCW?
Who's returned to WCW more times than that?
Sadness? I don't know.
Bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy? Terry Taylor, PWI Rookie of the Year 1980. Shout the fuck out. Good for him. Good for
Who's
him.
his competition? Do you happen
I
to
have
know?
genuinely no idea, but I can try to find it.
Is that a list that is easily accessible on the internet?
The runners up were Tom Pritchard,
Okay.
Rick McGraw, who I don't know, and
Tim McGraw?
Rick McGraw.
When you hear Tim McGraw?
When I hear Rick McGraw. The real runner-up was Barry Windham.
Oh, he got hoed.
I'm going to try to find for you, before we talk about like our final thoughts, the best group of people who are in the winner, runner-up, second runner-up, third runner-up. We got a good one here of Owen Hart, Big Boss Man, Shane Douglas, Doug Furness is not bad. It's not bad.
Doug Furness.
I know, but it's really carried by Owen Hart and Big Boss Man.
I mean, Shane Douglas is decent enough.
Ooh, we got Lex Luger, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Sting, and then Tom McGee.
Who won?
Luger.
Okay. Shouldn't have been him.
Not bad, though.
Definitely should have been Stang.
Angelo Mosca Jr., King Kong Bundy, Scott Armstrong, Arn Anderson.
Angelo who?
Angelo Mosca Jr.
That dude won over Arn Anderson and King Kong Bundy?
He did. Going to more recent times, the Giant, Steve McMichael, Rocky Maivia, and Joe Gomez, who was in WCW. That's a weird one. Bill Goldberg, Sable, Draws, Mark Henry.
That's a very diverse list right there.
I have the right answer. The right answer is 2001. 4th place, the Prototype, John Cena.
All right, because it's just the OVW class.
3rd place, no, not quite. 3rd place, K-Quick, Ron the Truth Killings.
Really? That was his first year?
I guess so. Then Brock Lesnar, then Randy Orton is the winner.
Randy over Brock.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a crazy, crazy class there.
I mean,
unless you're more into 2014 of Charlotte wins, Enzo Amore 2nd, Mojo Rawley 3rd, and Chad Gable 4th.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good with that.
On that. Good on that list.
Jade Cargill, Braun Breaker, Bad Bunny, Brock Anderson.
That was a good one.
It's a good one.
That's a good one. You got the Bunny at 3rd.
It's pretty good. Nia Jax, Leo Rush, Matt Riddle, Shayna Baszler.
You're having a little too much fun with this.
I'm loving this. All right. Tell me what your thoughts were on covering Terry Taylor.
Solid worker. That's just, there's not, listen, I mentioned this I few podcasts ago, I think. Wrestling needs solid workers in order to, fill out a card, stuff like that. This is never, looking at his move set, the way he got over with crowds and all this other stuff, or I should say the way he got over or lack thereof, with crowds and stuff like that, like he was never going to be a main event talent. Honestly, the fact that he was the North American champion is kind of crazy to me, or television champion, whatever they got going on.
Oh, he's got a ton of records in his arsenal. I'm gonna pull up some of his.
The fact that he's won so many mid card titles is kind of insane. Considering he's a mid card performer, but he's like a lower mid card guy, if I had to guess.
But yeah, AWA Southern Heavyweight Champion 3 times, NWA National Heavyweight Champion 1 time in Georgia.
Never the AWA World Heavyweight Champion.
World Junior Heavyweight Champion. Like I mentioned, Rookie of the Year, WCWA Texas Heavyweight Champion. A lot of decent things.
Yeah, I mean, he's never a guy that you're gonna make a face or one of the faces of your promotion or something like that. But if you've got a match card that's like, I don't know, it's a good size for a promotion of these calibers, like 7 matches. And your 3rd match has Terry Taylor in it, you're probably doing all right.
You're in a good spot.
Like that's just kind of where he is. You can plug him in wherever you want. Yeah, it's good. Hey, you want to have a team V match for Mr. Perfect? But let's put him in there with Terry Taylor. They can go at it for like 7-8 minutes to have a
Yeah,
good match. You want to have him, put Flair over at the Superdome. It's a weird decision. I'm not gonna lie that he main evented against Flair at the Superdome, but they pulled it off. That was a decent match.
they just couldn't afford any more light bulbs. No, I think you're right. Terry Taylor strikes me as like if you were playing like a the 2K GM mode and you only like, oh, I only got like $100,000 left. I need somebody who's gonna like feud with people when they're not doing anything else. Like, oh, Terry Taylor. I'll put
Hey,
Terry
Terry
Taylor in
Taylor's
there.
solid.
Yeah, that's
Listen,
in there.
man, for all the people out there that's going to be playing NCAA 25, just know they can't all be 5 stars.
That's true.
Sometimes you got to recruit the 3-star center from Nebraska. Sometimes you just got to do that
It's true. It's
in
true.
order to complete the
Sometimes
roster.
your tackle depth is just looking a little rough. So you got to go to Des Moines, Iowa, and get some 2-star farmer kid just so he can. He's just big. He's 6'7".
Hey, sometimes you just got to look in the most racist parts of America, and that's where you'll find your interior linemen. Let me tell you something. The
But
best ones.
I love that Joe Alt is going to be a Hall of Famer because he has just zero drip. It's my favorite thing.
Zero. You know who is the coolest offensive lineman who was like really good?
Orlando Pace.
No, none of them. It's none of them. None of them are cool. They're just good.
I tried to think. All right. This was really fun. I liked covering Terry Taylor. The Red Rooster kind of killed him, and that's such a bummer. And Javier's now doing the chicken head bobbing thing. He's my least favorite poultry inspired gimmick. So,
Who's your favorite?
um, the gobbledygooker, I guess. If I
Is
had,
there another one? Is there a turkey out there? We got the turkey,
we got any turkeys? We got any other waterfowl? I don't know. All right.
the
Before we
goose.
reveal who we're covering for our next 3-parter, you should be sure to rate the podcast 5 stars wherever you're listening. You should be sure to subscribe to the podcast, whether you are watching here on YouTube, and give us a little thumbs up if you are, or wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all those wonderful places. Make sure you hit subscribe.
Stitcher.
Share all of these wonderful podcasts with your friends because this is episode 218. We got lots of episodes you can go back and
218,
listen
baby.
to, and we've covered lots of your favorite wrestlers already. You should also follow us on social media at Crossbody of Work on the Twitter and the Instagram. You should follow Javier wherever he tells you right now.
I'm on the Twitter machine at JMello Sports.
I am also on the Twitter machine at It's Evan Gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. The podcast merch is, of course, live. The link is in our bio. It is in the show notes. It is in the description of the video. You can get the nice sweater that Javier has on. You can get the nice hat that I have on. All of these are options for you. All right.
Listen, I just got to say, this is a comfy ass crew neck.
It's the fucking
It's
best.
so comfy.
I'm currently
I'm not
in
even
my
lying.
my WrestleMania hoodie that I had to buy or else I was going to freeze to death in Philadelphia. But other than that, we're thriving. I love our crew necks. They're so comfy.
New merch is great.
New merch
Surely.
is
I brought
outstanding.
I didn't mention this. The merch went international because when I went to Italy, my airport trips, but the airport days, the trip there and back, I wore my hoodie.
Outstanding. Also, I want to shout out some of the international charts that we've appeared on
Are
recently.
we in Lithuania again?
So recently we're on the U.S. charts, we're on the Canada charts. We appreciate that because, of course, these are our 2 home countries. But
Yes,
shout
sir.
out to our listeners in the Philippines, in Luxembourg, and in Sri Lanka, where we were the #1 wrestling podcast
Lanka.
for about a week.
Let's
So,
go, Sri Lanka.
whoever's listening in Sri Lanka, Luxembourg, and the Philippines, we hear you, we see you. Tell us who you think we should cover because I would love to hear from whoever
Yes.
is listening to us there.
I'll cover Becky Lynch if you want me to, Sri Lanka.
But we will be occupied for the next 3 weeks by covering this man. He is the Big Red Machine. He's the worst dentist you've ever seen. We're covering Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
It does gotta be Kane. We're talking Isaac Yankem DDS. I don't think we're going to talk the Christmas Creature because we've already covered the one match we can find from it. I think that'll be enough. We're going to talk about Kane.
Corporate Kane, different masked Kane. We're not going to talk about current Kane, but we're definitely going to talk about Kane overall.
Current Kane, huge heel. character of Kane, one of my favorite like instances of lore in wrestling. He has one of the weirdest. He gets the weirdest storylines, and he just tries so hard in all of them. And I honestly, I
Yeah.
fuck with it. It's a
You-
good time.
You're not gonna like the 2005 2006 range of the matches, because I'm just gonna plop in the link for See No Evil.
So here's another thing. We're gonna start doing wrestling movie reviews on the YouTube channel. See No Evil will be much later.
No, See No Evil is solid. I will say, as a horror movie, it's alright.
We will watch it when it comes. We'll make it come out on May 19th. Maybe next year, May 19th, we'll have it come out. But for the next 3 weeks, we're covering Kane, so get ready for a 3-parter on Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, Isaac Yankem, DDS. I don't remember his other
Christmas Creature.
Christmas Creature, Bruiser Mastino, Angus King, Mike Unabomb, Spartacus, Sid Powers, all your favorite Kane gimmicks.
I didn't know they had Betty.
I didn't know there were that many till I started reading.
Am I just gonna load up the first episode with everything but Kane?
One Isaac Yankem match, and then we get to Kane because there's so much weird shit we have to cover with Kane. All right, that's the rule. It is time for everyone's favorite part of the podcast. Javier, do you have any final words for the people?
This week on Life Advice with Javier, my boss is leaving me. Boo.
Okay, it's always important to know if that's a boo or a yay. And I know
boo.
you speak.
Boo, as in he's leaving. God damn it. Because my boss is great. I love my boss.
You do
Boss
speak
is a
highly of your
great
boss.
He's a great boss. Appreciate him so much. He's done many things for me that I will always appreciate. But it's one of those things where, like, if you are listening to this and you either have a shitty boss or are in a position of power or something like that, like, I feel for you, because having a good boss or manager, whatever the deal may be, is awesome.
Game changer.
It is great.
Yeah.
Like, people should just not be toxic bosses.
Yep.
Like, you just shouldn't be. Just be empathetic. Be like, know that your employees are people and talk to them like they're people. Like, yeah, the work gets done if the work gets done. Like, sometimes, it's one of those deals where, like, you're being toxic and all that stuff, and it makes people want to quit, not want to work.
I want to work for
Like,
you. Yeah.
if you're being a good boss, like, my boss being a good guy is, and pretty much, like, being pretty hands off with me has led to me doing my job pretty damn well, stuff like that. Like, knowing him as a person also really helpful. I'm not saying you have to have a personal relationship with your boss and all this other stuff, but, like, it does kind of help.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those deals where, like, I'm always gonna remember this guy. Like, he will always be my first real boss, and it's gonna I'll think about it 20 years from now, should I ever become someone else's boss, and I'll take pieces of the way that he treated me when I am in that position, fingers crossed, or not, who knows.
Yeah.
Where, like, just little things like treating people like people, talking to them like people. Knowing that, yeah, I'm the boss, and sometimes you have to be firm and say, hey, like, I need this by, like, the end of the day, but also realizing, like, hey, I'm not going to say I need this at the end of the day, or I need this today at 4:30. Like,
Yeah.
you
Holding yourself to a high standard as a boss is good. I remember, so I went to school to be a teacher. Like, that was one of the things that I went to school for. And I remember one of the instructors we had saying, like, this is all good. All these things you're learning is good. But here's the thing. You're going to teach the way you were taught. The way the way your best teachers taught are the things you're going to do, and the way your worst teachers taught are the things you're going to avoid. And that's very similar for bosses. You're going to try to be, if you do end up where you have to manage people or do whatever, you're going to end up managing people the way that you liked being managed. But this is my tip: if you ever do end up being a boss, whoever is listening, you need to be flexible. Don't be flexible in terms of what you expect, but be flexible in terms of the way to approach each person, because each person is going to need a very different thing from each boss.
Yes.
So be flexible. It's good. I love when we tag team the life advice. It's always good.
Yeah, it's nice. So listen, you have a lot of life experience that I do not have, and I have life experience in other things that you do not have.
Like being tall. All right. That wraps up this week. We will be back next week as we start the career of Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
We'll talk to you then.